Hey, Daisy Lynn. Larice, were you number one? Were you first? Manet's here. Four people in the house, starting off with this live stream. We're coming to you live from the broadcast studios of Dan's Retirement Journey, Philippines bound, deep in the bowels. The basement studio located in the heart of Bye Bye City Leyte. Good morning. Hi, Daisy Lynn. How's life in the big city, Daisy Lynn? All right. Kill the music. We got the notifications going out. And Larry Lee is in the house. What would a live stream be without Larry Lee in the house? All right, so today we're going to be talking about, let's just get straight into it, okay? No more fooling around. You know how I like to fool around. All right. So today we're talking about not only Dan's guilty pleasures, but your guilty pleasures. But before we do that, we should know what the definition is of guilty pleasures. You know, guilty pleasures may or may not be what you all think it is. The first thing that people think about when they start thinking about guilty pleasures is things like, oh, I don't know, sneaking a bottle of cognac, maybe a shot or two of tequila in the middle of the afternoon, eating or overeating, in my case, carbohydrates, those tasty chicharrones that you could buy. Not the regular chicharron. I'm talking about the fake ones that are coming out in the market that I showed you a picture of in my thumbnail. Those things are delicious. They're delicious, and right on the package it says something like guilt-free. I'm not so sure about that. I felt plenty guilty when I was eating a handful of those. You know, they're good with beer, by the way. So is beer a guilty pleasure? Some might say it is, and others might not think it is. It's just a pleasure, nothing guilty about it, right? Anime is in the house. Anime, what do you say? And my baby boss, Jay, is in the house. Baby boss. With a thumbs up, which is worth something. Yes, indeed, which is worth something in my book. Baby boss Jay, what do you say? What's your line today? All right, so, but guilty pleasures might also be taking 5 minutes out of your busy schedule when you know you have work in the house to do, you have work in the house to do, yet you set that aside, you grab yourself a cup of coffee. That's it, a cup of coffee, and you head out to enjoy uh, the sunrise or even the sunset in front of you, even though you know your family is waiting for dinner to be cooked. Uh, you have delayed going to the market to go shopping. You have a full schedule of things every day. So, and then you take time out and you grab your morning cup of joe, because it is morning here in the Philippines. It is about 7:04 a.m. Delicious. I have Ma'am Minnie just came in and asked if I wanted her to start another pot of coffee. Isn't life great, folks? So simple pleasure. And what we were talking specifically about to get things going are Dan's simple pleasure. Dan's simple pleasure, for example, right? So Dan's simple pleasures, unfortunately, they end up costing money. And that would be, I would say, going every morning, 7 days a week to the Dunkin' Donuts with Ma'am Minnie, enjoying our morning libation, which may or may not include some mornings or most mornings. If I were to admit it, most mornings are probably involve a coffee, a large coffee usually, and a Bavarian cream donut. Well, as many of you know that, I mean, that's a guilty pleasure. Why? Why does it have to be a guilty pleasure? Well, number one, it costs hella money to go to the Dunkin' Donuts every morning. And I've been sharpening my pencil and I've been working my budget, and I'm, kind of like, uh, a little bit frightened by it because I noticed I spend way too much money. I think I mentioned on my last live stream, I spend way too much money on alcoholic libations, and also so the beer and the beer and the coffee. I mean, they kind of go together. You drink beer in the evening, and then in the morning you have your cup of coffee. My own buntag, by the way, to my Filipino friends and everybody around the world. Morning, noon, or night, and also, why don't you go grab your favorite libation and join Dan for Dan's Retirement Journeys live stream? Dan's guilty and guilty pleasures. So you see, I'm feeling guilty because, my budget is not budget friendly. So as many of you know, Mammy and I will be heading off to parts unknown, most likely the city of Cebu. And that's going to take place, I think we're narrowing it down now to the beginning of next week. So Monday, next week, not this coming Monday, the following Monday, we most likely will be heading off on either the overnight or the fast ferry to the city of Cebu. We're going to be looking around for an apartment. So why would spending money on beer and coffee in the morning when we got plenty of coffee here and, quite frankly, plenty of beer here? Why would that be a guilty pleasure? Because I know that if I cut back on those beer and coffee budget and donut budget, that most likely I would end up having plenty of money to rent an apartment in Cebu and then even have some money left over for fun and games. You guys know what I mean? Do you folks know what I mean? Cha Ram is in the house. Cha Ram, thanks for coming. So, I mean, it's an economic necessity also. So I kind of feel guilty pleasuring myself, if you will, with with 40 ounces. That's slang for big, tall bottles of beer. And also, I'm feeling a little bit guilty, hanging around at the Dunkin'. But I think one of the reasons why we're hanging around the Dunkin' is because that's where everybody hangs out. That would be the Bye Bye City branch. of the U.S. Embassy, if you will. So, I mean, you go around, you find out who all has died, who new came into town. Yeah, I know. I know that's morbid, right? Who's fighting with who? We go there, complain about, you know, the high cost of living in the Philippines and stuff like that. I think that I truly, truly, would be missing out of something if I didn't show up to the Dunkin' every morning. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have to show up to the Dunkin' Donuts every morning. I could actually put together some kind of a schedule, some kind of a schedule, maybe go every other day or 3 days a week or, you know, that sort of a thing. So, I mean, it's a guilty pleasure. Now, the fact that I have a guilty pleasure, does that mean that I should be giving it up necessarily? I think that's what the whole thing is about. I started thinking about it. Are guilty pleasures meant to be sacrificed? Or their way to enjoy the guilty pleasures in life without it costing me a whole bunch of money. So, I mean, when you're talking about that you could rent a whole apartment for a month in the city of Cebu, the big city, for what I spend on a couple of cases of beer a month and a Dunkin' Donut Bavarian cream donut and a large coffee. I mean, that's kind of saying something, don't you guys think? Uh-oh, I know. People are getting they're getting just snowed and rained upon. And I was just watching a live stream on California, and it looks like a lot of people are going to have to temporarily evacuate their homes because they have flood threats. I believe I saw flood threats in Amador County, and when the snow starts to melt, all that snowpack, and it's got no place to go, then for sure there's going to be flooding to follow. The water's got no place to go. Once those dams start collecting some water, they gotta release some of that to make room for more of the runoff. And I mean, they're having record rainfall and record snowfall. What are you gonna do? And so it's interesting that Minnie and I, we bail out, come over to the Philippines where they're having their own kind of strange weather. Rain does have a lot to do with it, but so far there hasn't been much of a flood threat happening here in the lovely city of Bye City Leyte. Oh, did you say you were sleeping in late, Larry? If you want, you could come on up to the chat. I got a link posted in there. I think I pinned it, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's pretty much where we're at. So you each in the chat, you have some sort of a identified or unidentified guilty pleasure that you partake in. Some of it might be a secret. You might not want to share it. But I gave up a couple of mine. I gave up a couple of mine, and I wonder if Larry Lee has his own guilty pleasures. Where So guilty pleasures don't. Oftentimes, they don't have to be. Sometimes it could be a display of negative behavior, some kind of way. But a lot of times, oftentimes, it's not. Yeah. What do you think, Larry?
No, I don't think you have to give it up. Let me move this mic here. No, I don't. Guilty pleasure just means maybe you should be doing something else, but as long as it doesn't run your life or run your relationships, it's not that bad. Like you were saying, if you were spending that kind of money and you weren't putting food on the table, paying your other bills, then I don't think it's a guilty pleasure. I think it's a, a addiction. It would be a better word, an addiction. But as like I said, as long as it's not affecting your other relationships and your financial, it's a guilty pleasure because well, maybe I should do this, but hey, I can afford it. Why not? It's like me sleeping in. Yeah, I should probably get up a little earlier than I do and get some things going, but it's my day off. Why? you know, let's just
So,
relax.
I noticed this, about retirement and all that. Getting back to what we were talking about, just addressing it briefly.
No
Relevance
worries.
was the word. Being irrelevant was the word that I was trying to grasp at last week when we're talking about a person retiring and then Sunshine Shoulders was talking about remaining relevant. And so
Yeah.
my point there was that it can be generationally related. And then I gave an example of my father who struggled with, his identity. But I believe that, and I could be wrong, identity and relevance are closely related to each other. In other words, so people come over here, particularly men come over here, and then they want to remain relevant. That this was the point that Sunshine Shoulders was making. They want to remain relevant, and so they want to remain needed, which I understand that's a human trait. That's an inborn, maybe an inborn human trait. Even I don't want to sound too dogmatic, but maybe that's one of the reasons why men come over here.
Well, you're talking about feeling, relevant when you retire. The reason why a lot of people get depressed after retirement, they see their job is their identity. They all they do is work so much for so long, and they didn't try to do other things. Some people are, well, workaholics. You take somebody that's basically a workaholic, and that's his identity. The job he goes in, that's his whole identity. His family, and then his work friends, and he doesn't do anything else. When he retires, it's going to be very tough. Uh, there have been known people have been known to kill themselves because of it. They retired when they weren't ready, or they just emotionally couldn't handle it. Uh,
Well, so the point that I was trying to make that didn't get the ding it in the end it didn't gain much traction is that because I talked about this on several channels. Um, it didn't gain much traction. The point that I was trying to make is that because it was generationally related, there may be a difference between the way one generation actually, even if there's a half a generation gap, a generation being 40 years,
yeah,
age
yeah.
would come age would come into play. Because for myself personally, and for most of the people that I've talked to that are in my cohort group, nobody really thought much about it.
Well,
I mean, does
well,
that
well,
does that seem weird that nobody thought much about it?
I no, I think what it is, like you said, the difference in age, the age groups. You take our age group, we watched our parents or our grandparents, and my grandfather worked till he was almost 90. He worked a regular job till he was 82. He retired from it so somebody else wouldn't get laid off. Went out and bought a pickup truck and started hauling scrap for people because he had to have something to do. Now my father was always working, and he wanted to be home more, but he couldn't. He drove trucks across the country, and then when he went on total disability, he was saying, if I was healthy, I could enjoy this being home. And I think that affected me in that, I've always tried to have fun. That's one of the reasons why I say always try to have fun. Uh, I never, like I said, I never knew if I'd live this long or not. To tell you the truth, when I was younger, I didn't think I would. I would have maybe took better care of myself.
Oh, you're funny. You're cracking me up. But another interesting thing was, I think I agree with this, and I think it's somewhat related. Chime in if you don't think it's related. But so here how a traditional working week is 40 hours plus,
Yeah.
and so that's become more of the norm. And so folks in a Facebook chat that I was in were talking about how if they just would reduce the hours, or allow us to flex our positions so that we could work half time, then I would continue working forever because I would spend 20 hours of my time here at work, and the rest of my time I would be enjoying my retirement journey. So what do you think about that?
Uh, some people will enjoy that. Maybe I've just been working too long. I don't want to stay working 20 hours.
Do you think you're going to have do you think you're going to
I
have identity issues, Larry, or you think you're going to start
no,
crying in your pillow at
no,
night saying, "Oh, I'm irrelevant."
no,
I personally can't picture you doing that, but maybe
no, no, not going to happen.
yeah. And
But,
so
let's be honest
that
about
was
it. If
my
I get
point.
bored, if I got
Uh-huh.
bored, I could go do something. I can even go back to
Right.
doing what I'm doing. You know, you can be a security guard for who knows how long, and everybody knows I'm a security guard. But you can go volunteer. I would rather try to find something to volunteer if I got bored. So that way, whenever I want the time off, they can say, "Well, you can't take the time off. We need you." It's like, well, so does somebody
Well,
else. So when I come back, I'll either work for you, or I'll find another volunteer
but you
job.
know something, if you were job sharing, yeah, I understand that point. Of course, that's the first one that I thought about also. But if you're doing this thing like job sharing with someone else and you have a 40-hour position and they're dividing it up, you could always make a deal with that person saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go on vacation for a few weeks. Can you cover my 40 hour, my
No.
20, my half of the 40 hours, something like that."
When it's time for me to retire, I don't want anybody telling me, "Oh no, I'm not. I can't do that. You got to work." No,
But
no.
Larry, I find this to be interesting because in my Facebook page, the day I retired, I don't do Facebook too much. In fact, I don't do it at all. I haven't in years, or a year, at least a year, the better part of a year. But
And how you doing?
if you go into Crystal, if you go into my Facebook page, you're going to see me sitting. So I announced my retirement, and I'm sitting there, and I'm in the Starbucks. So the first thing I do, right, because I had planned this, the very
I
next
believe
day
it.
after I retire, I'm going to go and I'm going to hang around in the Starbucks to see how that feels. And now that I'm here in the Philippines, all I did was take that pattern of behavior and transfer it to the Philippines by hanging around in the Dunkin'. That is sort of a guilty pleasure in a way. And as I was pointing out before, is it detrimental because I know that if I don't go in there every day, I'll actually have enough money to spend on an apartment in Cebu, or I could get a better apartment in Cebu. But I know once I move to Cebu, I'm going to end up in the Dunkin'. See,
Well,
that's the problem with it,
yeah, but see, now, Dan, I got one
and that's
question.
making me feel guilty.
I got one question. What
Yeah.
would you do if you didn't go? Would you sit around the house and go nuts?
Well, some
That's
guys do. Some
what I
guys,
said.
some guys plop themselves. I got a 55-inch TV set.
Yeah,
Some people just plop themselves inside,
I got a 50.
inside their. Yeah, you know what that's like. It's like you're actually living in 3D, in the TV
Yeah,
set.
but the thing is,
So,
though, I can enjoy that for a couple of days. After a while, I'm gonna get tired of it. I mean, if I do it every day, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, I would get tired of it. So that's what I'm
mhm.
saying. I mean, you gotta have something else to do. So I would probably go out for a cup of coffee at least a couple times a week, if not every day, just to get out of the house. Uh, Maybe I make my coffee and sit on the porch. I don't know. It depends on what kind of place I got. Uh, uh, I don't plan on living near a beach, but if I did, I'd go down to the beach, sit there and drink a cup of coffee and watch the kids play. And when I got done, go back home just to get out of the house. I mean, I don't need
Yeah.
to do something like that every day, but I need to do something like that once in a while.
Wow, that
And
sounds wonderful. I need to find me a beach. Crystal's is Crystal. Do you feel guilty for staying in bed and not getting up, even though you know you got things you have to do? That's it. sleeping in late on a Saturday. Some might accuse you of, yeah,
I like sleeping in on my days off.
yeah.
Uh, I got to find out what the weather's going to be like Monday and Tuesday. I was going to go up
Well,
this week to my sister's, but it was snowing where I wanted to go on Tuesday, so I didn't go. They were calling for snowstorm. Right now, they're
Tim's
calling
in the
for maybe
house.
hey
Hey,
Tim,
Tim.
and they were talking about maybe a snowstorm Monday night into Tuesday night here in this area. Well, if that's what it is in this area, not my sister's area, I can still go up on Monday morning, come back on Wednesday, it'll be over with. So I got to find out what's going on up there. Remember, I want to go up to that pancake place, and
I was just thinking that maybe there's a fine line between pleasure and guilty pleasure. A very fine line.
oh yeah, and
Yeah, because when Tim came into the chat, I was thinking about it, meeting Tim and then his comments about having a driver, and then I was thinking to myself, I wonder if that's a pleasure, a guilty pleasure, or what kind of category Tim might put that in.
Tim says sleeping in
Yeah.
on Saturday is a right of retirement.
It's a right of retirement to sleep in every day, Tim.
I agree. Stay up
You
as
have
late
a
as you want and sleep in as late as you want.
Yeah, you have a choice. It's about you have a choice. You have freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to listen to anybody come and bothering you, saying, "Hey, I need this done, need that done," blah 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 blah. Yeah, not that anyone ever did while I was working. I just would like to point that out. That was terrible. Remember, I was a government worker. I don't know what that means. I just said it.
Well, government workers, isn't there's like 4 bosses and 1 worker?
Something like that. More than that in my office, because even the workers wanted to be bosses, and that's the way they projected themselves.
All
You
right.
know.
They were, what do they call that, silently quitting?
Yeah. Yeah. Crystal says, "Yeah, Sir Dan. There's a lot of work to be done waiting outside in those clothes, screaming at me. Hey, laundry time. Oh, laundry. Oh, so Crystals. Here's another guilty pleasure, Crystals. Just you just reminded me of it. So yesterday, uh,
Robert.
200 pesos per kilo to get the laundry done. I got tired of the rain and the rain and the rain that wouldn't stop here, making it impossible for the clothes to properly dry no matter what we tried. And so I started taking the laundry down to the front loading, laundromat, which we have like 5 or 6 here in Bye Bye. Believe it or not, we're turning it into a metropolis, a big city with modern equipment. Larry, you might be surprised to learn it's modern, brand spanking new equipment.
Oh,
And you go in.
they've
Yeah,
got
go ahead.
places where you can go and do coin laundry. They were showing that in, was that in Ilo, or there was someplace they showed it. It was just a year or 2 ago. They were showing where they were starting to pop up. I can't remember which vlogger it was they were talking about, but they said they
Robert
still pay.
Smile.
They said they still pay to have it done because, it's not that expensive. They just have somebody. I'm going to be honest with you. If I can afford it, somebody else is doing the laundry.
So is having somebody do your fluff and fold, is that a guilty pleasure, or is that just yeah
that's
a
just me being
necessity?
me, laziness.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel guilty talking about this in the chat because Filipinas never retire. Filipinas never retire. They don't
No, I'm going to tell
understand.
you, most women don't retire.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
don't understand the concept of retirement, really. Or they hear
Well,
about it because they
well,
come into these Western style chat rooms. They start watching and listening what everybody has to say, but they can get a general idea of what it's
hey,
about,
Pinky
but
Gray.
they can't really know what the thing is about. Pink is here. Pink, you have a live tonight, right? Where is she?
She's in the chat. She's
Am I going the right direction to find her?
you should be. Keep going down. Yeah, you're going the right direction.
I hate hurting anybody's feelings by not putting them up on the screen at least for a second. Menge, what do you say? What's it going to be today?
Mingay is shortly after Pinky. There you go. Let's say she's shortly after her.
Thanks for sharing, Pinky Gray. I'll be there tonight. I hope I will be anyway. So your live stream is at 7 or 7:30, something like that. I think you need to sing Jumbo Hot Dog in my honor, Pinky Gray. It's been such a long time.
Oh, Sammy. How you doing, Sammy?
Thank you,
Robert,
Crystals. I
Sammy here?
appreciate it. Sam Coker is here. Hey, how's it going? Hey, by the way, I just want to talk a little bit about the contest. Oh, you like gloves?
Is that Sam Gloves?
What gloves do you have at home? Hey, we're diverse.
Say?
We're a very diverse community here, Sam Coker. I have latex.
I got
I carry-
leather.
Yeah. Oh, talk to me, Larry. Leather. Yeah, I'm a latex guy, and Larry loves leather.
I got
Sammy
leather
is
gloves.
here. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that I shouldn't be changing the time to a little bit later in the morning, Pinky Gray, in order to get maybe I would get a higher view count. I'm not sure.
Talking about time.
Yeah.
This is the last Saturday that my time will be 13 hours difference instead of 12.
Mm-hmm.
We change our clocks Sunday morning, our time, at 2:00 in the morning. So
Oh no, you're kidding me! Not again.
Yeah, doing it. Well, this is the whole time they want to stay on. Hey, Jack, this is the time they want to stay on. If they ever, right now, the federal government's dragging their feet. The Senate, I believe, has already passed the bill saying, yes, let's do it. And so it's the representatives that are dragging their feet. They haven't passed it yet. But 18 states have already passed their own version of it. So a lot of states are going, but they're going to daylight savings time, which this time change puts us on daylight savings time.
Oh, you just reminded me of stupid laws, Larry. For example, we've got in California, they just passed a law that is now legal to jaywalk. So we have two laws that were passed that they're going to change the face of California. One of them was the new jaywalking law.
Frogger.
Exactly. You're now a target.
Yeah,
And Dan should not be driving. If you're jaywalking and you're not giving me enough room, listen, I'm looking the other direction when I come by you. And also, it is no longer illegal to loiter for the purpose of prostitution. And everybody knows that when they pass a law like that, that's the first step towards legalization of prostitution.
It wouldn't surprise me anything with California. I mean, let's be honest about it. Nevada already has that legal.
Well, Nevada, it's controlled by the counties, and then in California.
Well, see, now I'm from Indiana. We did the same thing. Prostitution was controlled by the county. My county, Vigo County, was the last county to outlaw it in Indiana. So, yeah, I grew up in the Wild West, even though it was already passed as being illegal in my county. Nobody busted them. Hell, the mayors had open door policy. A couple of mayors had open door policies with the girls. that if they got bothered too much by the cops, they walk in and talk to the mayor, and he'd put a stop to it.
Ah,
And that where they really put a stop to it in my home county was 72 when they elected Brighton was his name, I believe, Mayor Brighton. That's the year I went in the Navy. He got elected, and then he started busting all the prostitutes. But before that, nobody did anything about it.
wow.
I could have took you around and showed you 18 different houses.
How should I say this? The face of California is changing.
Oh yeah, California is wild.
It's turning into, well, we were born to the Wild West, let's face it.
Yeah.
History repeats itself. We're just going back to our California roots.
Yeah.
Piggy Gray, it sounds like Piggy Gray is on board with singing Jumbo Hot Dog for me tonight at 7 p.m. in her live stream. That'll be fantastic.
But yeah,
I love it.
like I said, when I was in San Diego back then, in those days, you had the weekend hookers in San Diego. Now, the girls usually lived outside of the city of San Diego and would come in for the weekends, and they would try to pick up these boot camp sailors or Marine Corps Marines, because on the weekends, that's when the boot camps let their guys out that graduated, so they figured the guys were safer as far as diseases. And so, yeah, now I didn't know that at the time when I was in boot camp, but I heard they were talking about it later on that a lot of girls that were just part-time hookers would come into town every weekend and hook up with the graduated, because we had them hitting on us.
Yeah, San Diego, though, I think San Diego has changed a lot that way, because I think one of the reasons why is because people, well, number one, they started cracking down on the girls hanging around, the girls and the guys hanging around. That went on for a long time down there in San Diego. And then they figured out that all they had to do was cross the border, and they could start making money in Tijuana.
Yeah. Well, not during boot camp, but those guys of us that were under 21, because when I was in, and as far as I know, it still is in California, 21's a drinking age. Now, 21, California never went below 21.
Right.
And Tijuana is not that far from San Diego.
No, it's just a 15-minute.
Hop, skip, and a jump. Yeah,
15-minute taxi ride.
Yeah, and then you walk across the
down
border.
The freeway.
Yeah, and so we used to go down to Tijuana to drink if we wanted to go off base, because even on base, all we could drink was 3-2 beer. We couldn't have hard liquor. But you go down there. Now, they had 3 bars down there that were what you would consider American bars. If they were Mexican citizens, unless they were with Americans, they weren't allowed in. And they tried to keep the women out, the guys out, because they didn't want trouble. There was 3 bars that were, I can't remember the name of them anymore, because we're looking at over almost 50 years now since I've been down there. And like I said, so you could go in. There was a cover charge to get in, but that included the price of your first drink. And then there was dancing. And you had the high school girls that go down there from San Diego. And so you got our college girls that were under 21. And then the sailors and the Marines and the high school guys that were under 21. We'd all be down there. So those 3 bars were always hopping on the weekends.
You reminded me of a story. So, Larry, you know how far it is from Sacramento, where I used to live, down to San Diego.
That's a good little drive.
Yeah, it's a 6-hour. It's a 7-hour, 8-hour drive from Sacramento to the border.
If you take the coastal highway, minimum to that.
So here's what happens.
You're going through all those little towns.
One weekend, we decide, myself and a friend of mine, we're going to drive down to San Diego, go to the gas lamp district and get drunk out of our minds. So we get a hotel that's right there, in the gas lamp. We go out and have a real good time. The very first bar that we went to, we run into like about half a dozen of our coworkers, not knowing that they were also planning a trip down to San Diego. That is such a strange the distance between San Diego and Sacramento is something like what, 6 or 7, 800 miles?
Something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly because
No, not that far. It's like 350 miles or something like that.
like I said, it's been.
Yeah.
I've been through Sacramento one time, well, twice. I was going up to. I'm trying to think of the name of the city. We were taking a guy home. He lived north of Sacramento, and we took him home. So we stopped in L.A. because this one guy that went with us, he was from L.A. His mom ran a bar. Now she wouldn't serve us drinks because we were all underage, but she let us come in and sit and drink Coke. And then we went up, dropped the guy off, and went back and stopped again. Then we went home. So I've only been through Sacramento one time or in that area. But I'll tell you, I was stationed.
I think Jack is trying to add into the stream, but there he is.
I know. I'm going to say I noticed somebody trying to come up.
Yeah, I think it was Jack, and he was buffering, or maybe he.
There he is. Hey, Jack.
There he is.
Hello.
But now, see, I was stationed in Pacific Beach, Washington. You were talking about strange coincidence. Now, I was at a base of 110 people. That's how many sailors there were, 110 of us. We're about 100 miles, 110 miles from Seattle, and we were the other distance from Portland. Almost halfway. You move the city. Listen to me. You move the eye blink one way or the other, 5 miles, and you were dead center. Now, when I say blink, the town was only about 500 people. Okay? We were at base of 110. But we went up to a Bob Seger concert in Seattle. And there was over 25 of us there. And we didn't know everybody was going. I got with a group of friends. We went up with about 5 of us. And we got there, and there's like 20 or more of them at that Bob Seger concert. That was 100 miles or more away. So that was kind of strange, too.
We got our buddy Ed Denoy here,
Ed.
and Jerry. Jerry's here.
Yes, we got Ed and Jerry
from the old Chris and Cebu days. Of course, I was a latecomer to Chris and Cebu. You remember that?
Yeah, I was there before you. So was Jerry. Ed was there for quite a while. I started following Chris right about the time he started doing live streams. I started following just before he started doing them. And I've told you before. Some of the others may not know it, but I used to when I first started following bloggers. I followed so few, I would go back to the very first vlog and watch them all until I caught up with them. And about the time I caught up with Chris and Cebu, that's about the time he started doing live streams and the walking live streams.
Well, by the way, I just thought I'd chime in and say that the apartment that I'm looking around, that Minnie and I, is in that Osmina Circle area, Fuente Osmina. You guys know it from Chris and Cebu.
Yeah.
Walking around the circle, that area.
Yeah, that's the area I said that would be an area I would be interested in.
Pretty much the area where everybody hangs out, all the expats. Yeah. Hey, Jerry's saying that San Diego is a really small town between Laredo and Corpus Christi.
Yeah,
but do they have gals in bikinis there, Jerry? That's
what about their zoo? What about their zoo? Do they have a nice one? Because San Diego, California has a great zoo. They have one of the largest zoos in North America. And you can spend.
It's a fantastic world-class zoo. It's a shame if you're anywhere near that area and you miss out on the zoo.
Hey, Filipino Raquel, how you doing?
Yeah, it certainly was a late bloomer. No doubt about it, Ed. So we're going to be hanging out. That's a general area, and it's getting kind of pricey. So I hope that we're able to find something around there.
Well, like I said, if I ever moved to Cebu, that would be one of the areas I would consider.
Filipina Raquel is here. Hi, Filipina Raquel.
It'd be like, can you afford it? Like I said, because you're actually in the city, but it's affordable. See, I couldn't afford. How should I say this? IT Park.
You know, there's a way where there's a will, there's a way to make things happen. So I started thinking about, you know, I wonder if it's possible to get a 2-bedroom apartment in IT Park and then split the rent with somebody.
Well, yeah, you could probably do that, but the thing is, I don't want to split the rent with anybody. I like living on my own. The only person I would want to live with me would be my girlfriend, you know, and if she had a kid, I guess her kid. Because, like I said, I'm against making the kid go live with the grandparents or sisters. I'm against that. But I'm just saying,
Tim,
no, I don't want a roommate that's not I'm not involved with.
Tim, now here we go. I'm sure there are a ton of crazy laws on the books. But I'll tell you though, if you try and jaywalk in front of me in California, you better say your goodbyes. You better say your goodbyes, because Dan is not stopping for anybody. I've often said on this stream, I've said if it comes down to me dying or the dog dying, the dog is dying.
Oh boy.
I mean that's just the way it is. That call it whatever you want, you know, but
Dogs
that's
in
the
the
way it is.
Philippines can cross the street better than the humans.
It's like a game of Frogger when you cross the street in the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We used to say that to Chris all the time. Frogger.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best way to
But
play
so
Frogger in the Philippines is follow the locals.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking that, well, anyway, that area of Cebu we were talking about is becoming a very, very popular place. And it probably already was a very popular place for expats to be hanging out. Because you got the McDonald's there, you got the Burger
Hey
King,
LV, how you doing?
you got all these things, you know, there that expats like to partake in. And plus, you got all the bars and things like that are close by.
I'm with you, Filipino Raquel. I start eating something I like, I just can't stop.
Well, Filipina Raquel is talking about guilty pleasures where it comes to food, partaking in food. I'm
Yeah, but
afraid
she's
that
talking
I
about she
suffer
can't
from that.
stop.
Yeah, and that's what I suffer from. So I'll get going, and I'll think to myself, I'm only gonna. It's like one of those potato chip commercials, you know.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna eat one potato chip, and then you ended up consuming a bag and a half of the potato chips. They're so tasty, you know. I mean,
With me, it's cookies.
what are you
I
going to do?
love
I've gained
cookies.
7 pounds since I've been back from Thailand. And this makes sense because Thailand, you're doing a lot of walking. And
Well,
I've gained 7 pounds.
That's another reason to live in the area that Chris was in. I think it's foot friendly. You can walk to a lot of different places. And
But ever try walking across the street to get into the circle? You're taking your life into your own hands, brother. I'm telling you.
Oh, I believe that. Like I said, that's
Minnie and I did it. We've done it a couple of times. Each time, you know, we're like, "Whoo, we made it."
Yeah, I think they need to build a couple of overpasses into there.
That would be nice. I kept looking around. There actually is one crosswalk, I believe, that you have to go. You have to make your way around that circle, and there's one crosswalk in a place that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And you have to kind of like make your way slowly but surely across that crosswalk.
That's why I said follow the locals.
Have a smile. Follow the locals. You are the locals. You have to have a great big smile on your face and wave. Do a lot of waving. Like, please stop for me. Please stop for me. Philippines is one of the places, you know, that I've discovered that you get a lot further down the road the nicer that you are to people.
Well, I believe that.
Has that been your experience, Jack?
Jack? he asked you, has it been your experience? The nicer you are, the farther along you get in the Philippines.
What's that?
Dan wanted to know if the nicer you are, do you get farther along if you're really nice compared to if you're not that nice?
Yeah, but
In
you
the
don't
Philippines.
you don't
In the
need too
Philippines.
nice because you're gonna have people asking you for money.
Hey, if you're, for example, if you get mad at somebody, they just basically laugh at you. You know, they laugh at you and they kind of look at you like they give you this quizzical Filipino look, like, oh, they laugh at you and then they give you that look like you're a stupid American.
Yeah,
Something like that, you know. But
yeah.
they're always good humored when you're projecting yourself upon them. You know, they're always very, very good humored. So let's say that you have some kind of a disagreement. You know, they'll get by the initial reaction of anger really quickly, and then they'll wait for you to signal them that you're willing to discuss some kind of a settlement to the issue that's cropped up, that sort of a thing. So here you can go from 0 to fisticuffs really quickly, and it just doesn't seem like that happens that much in the Philippines.
My problem is now I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but I'm having trouble when you speak. Seems like it was breaking up. So I'm not sure if that's me because maybe my headphones are starting to go dead. I mean, or
you never know because you never know because
yes,
like I said, I've been having issues with that slave router that we set up. So I have a slave router
like I said,
that's right outside the door, and
like I said, I'm having trouble hearing everything you say. Kind of like it breaks up intermittently. Now, what about you, Jack? You have the same trouble or what? Jack, you there?
Jack looks frozen.
Yeah, he does look frozen.
It's like this.
Well, that happens. All right, Ed Denoy says it's your audio, not me. So, yeah, Anna says the same thing. Your voice is not clear, and you have static. It's Tim. Do you have your door open? Because your window? Because you said something about leaving it open so you'd have a clear line.
Yeah, I got it open.
Okay.
I got it open.
All right. I've just wondered. Because
I can send Ma'am Minnie.
I'm going to say,
yeah, I can send Ma'am Minnie a message to see if other people are on the internet right now.
Could be that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
so some of the people in the chat are agreeing with me that you're very robotic. Your audio is not that clear. You have static. So I just wanted to make sure because if it was mine, I could do something else to get the voice up because I got things I can plug in and do that. But if it's not
okay, stand by while I go check to see what might be going on.
All right, we'll be here. If anybody's got questions, I'll answer them if I can. And all right, now that's good, Leonard. It's good to see you. It's good to see Larice. We got Anna Marie. We got Ann, which is Crystal Adventure. You never know. And that could be right. He didn't pay for his internet. We got Filipino Raquel. Yeah, he's going to see if he can straighten that out, Raquel. He's going to try to see what's going on. So hopefully we'll get it straightened up. But I'm trying to figure out what Ed means, not even for a pile of gold, Tim, because I missed that part of the conversation. But yeah. Elvie, how you doing? I don't know if you heard me say hi to you earlier. Well, a lot of it could be your mic. It could also be your internet connection because maybe too many people is on there at one time. I don't know how your system works. Right now, I'm the only one on my internet connection, but there's other people using the same internet around me. But there's a lot of different internet, so it could be handled by that. They have internet interruption here, just like they do in the States. And hello, welcome back. But
Let me see if I can improve the sound by. Am I still sounding robotic?
you're still sounding a little static, although I sound like I can understand Minnie if she's in there with you, because some female was talking.
I'm hearing somebody in the background, but I don't think it's Minnie.
Maybe it was on. Jack, did you have a female that was talking in your area? Oh yeah, it was Jack. He's stepping outside with it. I don't know. I'm assuming that's his girlfriend, our wife. That's the female I must have heard. Mingay, how you doing?
It's so weird because I could hear you perfectly.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if it's the mic itself. I don't know how old your mic is, or if it's not plugged in right.
Let me switch over to my laptop mic.
Now let's see what happens. Let me know when you're on with your laptop mic. Standing by, Dan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear whoever said that. Was that you, Dan?
Yeah, that's me. So how are you? How's the
Loud and
sound?
clear. There's no static. So it had to have been the
There's no
mic.
static. Okay. Oh
Had to have been the
man,
mic.
I think I may know what I did.
Well, that's
All
fun.
right,
If
well,
you know
you
what you
just-
did, you can try the other mic if you think you know what you did and see what happens.
Yeah, so I'm on my laptop mic now.
Yeah, there's no problem with your laptop mic. See,
I think I was getting feedback
No,
because I had a piece
it
of
just
laptop
started
on
again.
it.
It just started again.
again.
When you first started talking on the mic on the laptop mic, it was clear. But it was the same way when we first started the live stream. It was clear too. Hey, Leonard.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so since I'm having so many problems with the mic, I'm turning the show over to you, Larry.
Okay.
So go ahead, take off.
All right, everybody. Dan's going to work on his audio equipment and see if he can get that straightened out. And Dan's live today was about guilty pleasure. So if you know what your guilty pleasure is and you want to mention it, go right ahead. Like I said, mine's sleeping in on my day off. Coke Zero.
Your red horse.
Yeah, his red horse. Yeah, I used to alcohol used to be one of my guilty pleasures, especially beer. But I used to love rum and Coke as well. But I hadn't even had a drink now in probably 3 or 4 years. It's not that I'm against drinking. I just don't drink and drive. And every place I've lived in the last few years, there's not a bar close enough to where I live that I'm willing to walk home from. You know,
I
so
need some
if I don't-
rum and cokes with some locals here.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they're
like I said,
"Ooh, what is this?"
like I said, I like rum and coke, but I don't drink by myself. I live by myself, so I don't drink. And there's no bar that I like. Well, now there's not a bar. Even if I did like, I'd walk from there. We're talking probably 4 or 5 miles just to get to a bar one way.
Yeah, that's too far to walk home when you've had a few.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm a poor boy, you know. I'm a security guard. I'm not paying for no taxis or Ubers all the time. It's just not worth it. I
Yeah.
just as soon not drink.
Well, that
And,
saves you money too.
Yeah. And
Yep.
everybody I run around with doesn't drink. Dan's back up. Hey, Dan, let's try it again. See what happens.
Test 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Right now, you sound okay.
Yeah. For now.
Okay, so I switched over. I took off all my other equipment and switched over to the laptop.
Okay. Right now, you're sounding
My
good.
wide angle cameras and stuff. I took all that stuff out.
Well, you know, you still got a decent picture off your laptop. My live streams, I did 3 live streams on my laptop. 2 were testing. One of them sucked. That was the first one. And these were all out. Well, one was planned, and then the one coming home went pretty well. And I did use a headphone, but I didn't use an external camera. I just used the camera and the mic on the laptop. So it's good to have you back, Dan, back in charge of your own show. I tried to keep it running and clean like you would want, but you know, I just couldn't help myself. I had to cuss out. You know,
All right, so while we were away, we did get a refill on coffee.
oh, you did get a refill on coffee, and you're starting to break
Yeah,
up
man.
again.
Mammy did sneak in here and refill me. So,
All right.
all right, so
Hey,
let's see.
Pascal, how you doing?
Where were we? Oh, yeah, we're talking about guilty pleasures. Yeah, so what I find is that most folks really don't know what guilty pleasures are. In fact, I didn't know what guilty pleasures are. I had to go find the definition of it online. What's a guilty pleasure? I really didn't know what it was.
Now, Tim, I just leave mine plugged in. I don't unplug it, but mine's plugged into my desktop. It doesn't have a speaker or a mic on my desktop, and my monitors didn't have it either. So all I do is I don't unplug it, but I do turn it off quite a bit. But it turns itself on every time I turn the computer on.
Honestly, I think my biggest problem is it consumes so much bandwidth.
Yeah.
And if I would run I could run a speed test on my other computer here to see where we're at.
Yeah.
Well, by theory, they should be about the same.
Yeah, they should be about the same.
That's right. Yeah, but if he runs the other one, it'll tell him what it is. So that
Right.
Let me run a
All right,
speed test real quick.
I'm gonna stop my camera for a minute, and I'm gonna go get myself my guilty pleasure. My
Uh-oh.
Coke Zero.
Oh, sure.
Uh-oh.
Sure. Hey, smoke them if you got them, guys.
All right. I no longer have them, so I can't smoke them. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
smoke them if you Anyway, let me talk about the contest. Let me talk a little bit about the contest. Do I still sound like a robot?
Yes, you
You're breaking up still pretty bad.
Oh, I am. Okay. Doggone it. I don't know why that is. I'm doing everything I can think of in order to
investigate that, but it doesn't look like I'm having any luck. I don't have any other equipment running on this.
Yeah.
Um,
You switch microphones and everything?
Yeah, I switch mics. I'm using the laptop only. I turned my other computer off.
Try
I turned
setting
off.
your modem.
Have you rebooted that router?
Well, if I reboot the router, that's going to take me out of the live, of course.
Well, that's
So,
true. But
yeah.
what I
Well,
mean
you
is
can-
you
go
do
back
need to
in.
reboot those about every week or so.
Yeah, I probably should
Now,
reboot it.
Mike,
My
I got a
just
question,
recently-
have you tried just using the other computer, or can you not do a live stream from the other one? Because maybe it's your
Oh,
laptop that's messed up.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
possible. Yeah, if
And
the
also,
sound
I think,
equipment,
I think
if the sound
Jackson
equipment,
gets this. I could switch over.
yeah, if the sound
the phone,
equipment
too.
on the laptop's messed up, that's going to affect no matter what you're using.
No, I think it's a bandwidth issue is what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Well,
Welcome
I'm
to the
just saying, though, it
Philippines.
could also be the laptop because you've had trouble with it before. Isn't that
Well,
the same
I'm not
laptop you had to have fixed?
I'm not using the repaired laptop. I'm using the other one right now.
Okay.
I'm using my little 14-incher. So let me see. Let me know if it improves. I'm going to fire up my phone and I'm going to try Jack's advice. I'm going to see if I can follow my link and come up there live. Because I can hear you guys perfectly, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not your speakers; it's your it's something in the mic system.
Yeah, it's something in the mics because it's all the mic. If you can hear us, then it's the mic.
And we can hear each other fine.
Yeah,
Hey,
we hear each other fine.
If I take myself out of the live, will the live still continue?
I don't
think
know.
so. Didn't you
All right,
take
so let's-
yourself out just a?
gonna
Because
remove-
that happened. You know Bobby from Time to Get Going too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that happened to him this morning. He got somehow it went down, and they couldn't turn it off, and they just stayed talking. And then they decided, well, we're going to leave the live stream, and Bobby will have to shut it down later. I think it stays up until you turn it off.
Okay, so you guys go ahead and pick a subject, and I'm going to go ahead and remove myself.
All right, Dan, go for it.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Now, Jack, you said when did you say you were going back to the States? Didn't you say one other time that you'd be going back soon? Huh?
No, hopefully in a couple months.
Okay. Now, how long are you going back for?
Probably till golf season's over.
So the golf season's over.
Depends where you're at. That golf season's year round.
Yeah. You go to Hawaii, they play all year.
Yeah, Phoenix, here in Houston. Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
All right,
Well, you're back.
let's try it again. What's it like now?
It's still breaking up.
Ah,
But, like I said, with StreamYard, you can come back up. I think YouTube, if he shuts down, then it shuts it down.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Filipino Raquel was saying. You're
I think
remaining
it's,
still
as long as there's
sir,
just
as
somebody on the
you are
panel,
on
you can go
StreamYard.
back up.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't, I don't know if you guys use StreamYard or not. I do. You got to close the channel. I can't do it because you have to be the host, the main host. But when I'm hosting, it's got a button I got to hit twice. And it's close the live stream, and then close the live stream.
I got a lot to learn about StreamYard.
I think if everybody
StreamYard,
leaves,
once you
and
start
then
using it,
it's
StreamYard is
off.
fairly easy.
Yeah.
The free version is plenty. I happen to have the paid version, but you don't need that. I mean, if you have the
I got 3 accounts for the free versions, so I have to pay for it.
Well, like I said, you as long as the free version, you can only have so many. Yeah, but I'm just saying that you can only have so many hours, and a month. You can only do so many so many hours on live stream, and then you can only have, I think, counting yourself, 6 people up.
Mhm.
But you know how I
Yep.
used to be. I'd go 4 or 5 hours at a shot
Yeah.
on my live streams. I really did. I've gone over 6 hours. So most of my time was around 3 to 4 hours.
I think at one time I had like 7 on my free one. I'm like, huh?
But like I said, but what I'm saying is, though, with the you're only allowed, I think, like 20 hours a month.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was always pushing up 16 or more hours a month. And so I thought, well, it's just so I don't ever run into a house and say, hey, you're at your 20, it shuts down on me. It doesn't cost a lot. I mean, it's not free, but it doesn't cost a whole lot. And then I don't have the StreamYard duck showing. I put my own picture up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or you don't even have to put a picture up if you don't want. Dan doesn't have one up. Well, it's up there in the corner there. So, but it just, for me, it was just, and like I said, at the time I was talking 4 or 5 hours a night. When I only do it once a week. So the number of streams I wasn't worried about. It's the number of hours.
Yeah.
Like, because Leonard was there that time, I went over 6.
Yeah. The thing is, Dan or Larry, the way you do yours, it didn't even
Yeah.
seem like that long.
No, mine's very similar to Dan's.
Yeah.
We just, I have people come up and we talk. Like we said, we were talking about Bobby from Time to Get Going too.
Yeah.
He came up one time and sang a couple songs. That's what, on his Friday live streams, that's what it is. It's kind of like a karaoke, but they have their usual guests and they have a few extra that'll show up once in a while. And they sang songs on Fridays, and he'll go 4 or 5 hours doing that.
Yeah.
He usually goes around 4 hours or more. And
I've caught him a
Seems like-
couple of times. I need to start checking him out more often.
well, he does regular videos and shorts, and his videos, unless they're in the States, which he does a lot in the States, but his is more geared towards Thailand because that's where his wife's from. She's Thai,
Oh, okay.
and they just got back from Thailand not too long ago, and so he's got a bunch of videos up on Thailand. But he also did a bunch of videos on Lake Mead because he's there in California.
Oh, yeah.
And so he had a bunch of videos on Lake Mead. Well, Tim, if it wasn't for the price of gas, I'd go with you. But because of the price of gas, I'd rather drink the V8 than drive one.
Yeah.
Hey, that price. I bought the gas. Yes, was it yesterday? No, Wednesday. Because yesterday was Thursday, so 2 days ago, Wednesday. I went and got gas, and it was. No, it was yesterday. It was Thursday. I went and got gas, and at the cheapest, it was like $3.20 something. That's at the cheapest place to go, plus another 10 cents off a gallon. Most places are like $3.45 a gallon. It's in my area.
Oh, wow. I saw it
Yeah.
$2.75 a gallon yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, but you're in Texas.
Yeah.
Gas is a lot cheaper in Texas. All right, Dan, let's try your voice again. Let's see what happens.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
3, 2,
Right now
1.
you
You
said-
sound good.
Right now,
Okay,
you're wall
so-
to wall.
Here's what I did. I took Jack's advice and I killed everything and I went to my phone and I'm live streaming from my phone. I added myself as a guest.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Well, you got some audio issues, mic issues on your laptop, Sam. Both of them.
Well, I'm not sure, maybe it is, but I'm gonna have to play around with it.
I disconnected everything. I disconnected my Filipina Raquel had suggested to disconnect the V8.
Yeah.
So I disconnected the V8. I restarted everything, and that didn't solve the problem. And so I turned off my other computer. I moved all electronic devices that I thought could be interfering with the sound. I moved them away.
You don't have
But-
any magnets there, do you?
Well,
Can I-
I'm wondering if I'm getting feedback from my light, from my fluorescent light.
I got a
That's
question
actually
for
possible.
Yeah.
you. I got a question for you. I don't mean to sound stupid. What the hell is a V8?
Oh, V8 is this thing. Let me show you. I'll
That's your
see if I
sound
can.
card?
Yeah,
I don't have one. I don't have a V8.
yeah. That's what
I don't either.
Jack is showing you. See
Yeah.
this
Okay.
thing.
Now I can see both of yours.
Yeah.
It's an
No,
interface
no, what-
sound card. Yeah.
Oh, so,
Is that what the guys
Yeah.
is saying use?
Yeah, when you want to add sound effects and things like that.
so in other words, unless I want to do sound effects, I don't need anything like that because I'm not using.
You're
it.
fine with what you got, Larry, I think.
Yeah. You're fine with what you have.
So if I ever decide though to have karaoke, or if I
Yeah.
ever decide to have the laugh track or some of the other stuff, hey Mabel, how you doing? Then I would need the V8. Okay, like I said, I've heard people talk about a V8. There's something else they talk about. It's like
A T1, I think.
all I'm saying is it's like they're talking about stuff that's over my head because I have no clue.
Yeah.
Dan says he's low tech. I'm no tech. All right.
Yeah, but apparently not low tech enough that I can figure this out. So that's pretty good, That's pretty good.
That's
I'll be
just called trial and error.
Yeah, I'll just play around with this some more during the week to see if I can get one computer or the other working, and then I'll go ahead and I'm gonna take your suggestion and go ahead and reboot the routers.
Yeah.
That's something they didn't do. I don't believe they rebooted them when they added that slave router.
They
So
probably
maybe
did.
that's
But
maybe
router-
that's part
yeah.
of the problem.
But routers do need to be rebooted periodically.
Yeah, I believe you're right about that, and I don't think we've rebooted this router in a long time. Oh, wait, we did because we had a power outage the other day, and it was down for about an hour or two. So I'm almost sure that.
Well, it would have rebooted it, but sometimes that's not quite the same.
Do I hit the reset button?
You can try it.
Yeah. Okay, so when this live stream is in the history books, then we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so now let's see. Hey, yeah, Ed, Low Tech Dan, a win column.
Yep.
Except when I'm looking at when I'm talking and I'm looking at my picture on the screen, it looks like the voice and my lips are not coordinated. It's kind of weird.
Well,
So-
you're synced up good for us.
Wow, that's amazing the way it works. How you can just switch over, Jack, to your phone and just continue on. I just added myself as a guest, and I'm still scrolling down through the comment section just like I normally would if I were the primary host. And so it's pretty.
If you on your phone, I'd charge it because StreamYard kills your phone.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the battery power right now, and it's depleting
Plug it
it.
in.
It'll
Yeah.
get hot. Your phone will get hot. And like,
If you guys could see this place, I got so many cords, and look at it. Look at this. Let me show you. Let me show you around. So you got this computer, and I got my desktop keyboard. Then I got my light right here.
Yep.
Then I got the copy machine. I got this wide angle camera.
Oh, fancy.
I got this laptop sitting here.
Yep.
I got the laptop microphone. I got this one, the Dulce Professional, and then I got this one that hooks up into the V8. And then if I need, I got my backup cell phone right here.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Jack is showing what he got.
Yep.
Jack is showing what he
I
got.
my
You're
mic.
bragging over there.
Yeah, those mics are all nice. All I've got is this on the headset.
I got this for my headphones, but I also got, let's bring this one up. One of these, but I don't use these when I'm on the internet, on a live stream. Too much feedback. So you use
Well,
these.
Dan, if you had all
earbuds.
those microphones plugged in at the same time, they might have been causing the problem too.
Yeah, I tried unplugging them to see if that was the
Yeah.
problem, and it did seem to solve the problem. So
Well, double check and make sure you don't have any magnets there, because they can
Magnet.
store stuff. Magnets.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that could be. I'll be paying attention to all that stuff. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about the contest that I'm having. So people have been giving some great suggestions on channel names. I just want to thank everybody and remind them that you can enter in your suggestion in the chat section after the video, after it goes to video, the live stream, and you can enter as many times as you want. And so it's a chance to win 5K pesos, and I'll be delivering that through your GCash at the end of the month of March. My very last live stream that I do in March is when you'll get paid when you're selected. Now, here's the whole thing. I've been thinking about this. If it turns out that I don't like any of the suggestions, the one that I decide that I like mine better than everybody else's, I'm still going to select a winner based on what I think is the closest channel name to the channel name that I came up with to use. So there have been 2 or 3 people, I'm not going to lie, 1 or 2 right here in the chat today that have come up with great suggestions for channel names that if they were just slightly modified, they would make the perfect channel name for the channel. And so I don't want to reveal too much, because then of course I'm going to give somebody an idea of the name that I like.
I still think the name I came up with was the best.
Well, Sir Luke also came up with an excellent name, you know. So the whole thing is that, remember, but the thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was I'm trying to transition to a live stream channel. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to still be uploading shorts or videos. It basically means I'm switching over from primarily being a travel oriented channel towards a talking head channel. And so if you guys would keep that in mind when you're coming up with channel names, I would greatly appreciate
we're not
it.
qualified. Elizabeth and I are
Well,
not qualified.
No.
Well, yeah, but here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. You can come up with a channel name and then pass it along to your favorite YouTuber and say, go into Dan's retirement journey and put that name out there, and they'll get credit for that name. In other words, if you come up with it, or Sir Luke or somebody else comes up with a channel name, pass it along to somebody that you want the opportunity for to win that 5K.
I don't want to be
So if I tell Mr. Beast,
accused of playing favoritism.
Yeah, well, that's the dangerous part of it. The dangerous part of it is that someone's going to get mad at you, but they don't have to know that they don't have to know that you gave them the channel name. In other words, it can all be anonymous. You know, it can all be anonymous. It could be between you and that YouTuber. So I'm throwing it out there because, you know, I'm pretty loosey-goosey on the rules. But if any disputes about similarities in the names will be handled offline. So I even have a fix for that. So let's say that somebody comes up with a channel name that I pick, and it's very, very similar to somebody else's suggestion on a channel name. I will have an offline fix, but you would have to have an agreement. There's an agreement that'll be made if this event occurs, which, by the way, I'm not anticipating that it will occur, but the agreement will be made that no one is allowed to discuss it publicly. Okay, so this is going to be a very important part of this. because I don't want to have any public conflicts going on. You know how YouTube can be. You know how YouTube can be at times.
Oh yeah.
And
Get
so I
worse
promise
than a
you,
family reunion.
I
Yeah.
promise you that I'm one of the fairest guys out there when it comes to this, and I am a person of my word. Whatever agreement we, in fact, if there's anybody in this chat right now who wants to put a claim in saying that Dan disrespected them in some kind of way or did not follow through with one of his promises, I'm giving you the opportunity to publicly announce it right here and right now. Because I'm so confident that there isn't a single person that exists that can make that claim. That I'm putting it out there. But in order to get continuity and not damage anybody's reputation, if you feel as though you've been slighted in some way on this contest, you know, or any other event that has taken place in this channel, then you private message me and you let me know what the circumstances of those, you know, surrounding the event, and then I will come up with some way of finding a remedy for it.
Is Larry doing interrogation?
No, hey Jack, you're a very generous guy, by the way. I just wanted the chat to know you're very. I think most of the Filipinos in here, they know that you're a super generous guy.
I try.
And I wanted to acknowledge that here on live TV. So anyway, so I'm trying to avoid any misunderstandings that may occur, any anticipated you know, misunderstandings that might occur. But like I said, I don't really anticipate that anything is gonna happen. Thanks for chiming in there, Jerry.
Hey,
Send my
Jerry, how
sound.
you doing?
Yeah, so now I'm worried. Now I'm becoming worried because now I'm thinking that I'm having more of a computer problem than I am a streaming problem with the bandwidth or something like that.
I think it might be the bandwidth. I think
it might be the what?
It might be the bandwidth.
It might be the bandwidth. I'm praying that it's the bandwidth. But I went around the house during break and could not find any other electronic equipment that was in use. And we got unlimited fiber optic cable coming in here. So I mean, we got heavy duty stuff. But here's what I noticed when I was doing my check, and I may have mentioned it before. We've got antiquated routers in this place. I mean, they're AT&T's old stuff, you know. You know what that looked like. So you know what that stuff was all about. I mean, you were hit and miss no matter what kind of high-speed fiber optic cable you had coming into place. You know, it's got to be able to feed into where you need it. And I told you before that I'm in a location that it's questionable whether I get a decent stream. Because if I get decent bandwidth, because we're in like a basement, you know, and so it's concrete all around me, and that's why we ran that slave router in here that seemed to solve the problem on my last live stream, but apparently it has not. You know, we're still having it looks like hardware issues, you know. So when you have hardware that don't work, and then you got a low tech guy hanging around, you know,
Yeah.
you gotta, it's kind of a double whammy, you know. So.
Yeah, Jerry, he went from his laptop to his phone. That's why his audio sounds so much better.
That's so
maybe
might be your computer.
Yeah, maybe it's not sucking up as much bandwidth, but I'll be moving equipment around. I may have to move out of this room that I've been using. You know,
Do you have a
And
window
back to
where
the
you-
bedroom. You guys know how I was broadcasting before from the
Yeah.
bedroom studio. Yeah.
I got
So
a question for you though. Do you have a window that you can set that up near?
Well, it's right here. I could almost touch it. You see my arm? The router is I could actually show you guys because I'm on my phone.
And the router is hardwired to the other router, right?
Yeah, it's hardwired to the other router. So let me show you. Let me show you. All right. So
Let me show you
5 or
something.
6 steps. 5 or 6 steps. And there it is.
Okay.
Hanging there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. So you see what kind of a router I got here.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, hey, I don't know if I've ever shared this guest bathroom with you, so I want to show you guys this. Kind of proud of it, right? It's actually very, very large. So
Oh, that is nice.
The last time I seen the guest bathroom out there, they were still fixing it up. It wasn't done
yeah,
yet.
so look, here's the shower.
You got hot and cold water in there?
Well, it's plumbed for hot and cold water, but there's a debate going on in the house because it's set up so it's centralized hot water heater.
Oh, okay.
And so no one uses it except for myself. No one else uses hot water, right? So what I'm thinking about doing is, but I spent all this money though, putting the pipes in for centralized hot water. And so now we got the hot water heater that's sitting up in the storage room just above me over here, above the office. And it's doing nothing. And we paid all kind of money for it. So, but I realized that, if I hook this thing up and we put it in line, I'm the only one that's going to be using it. But yet the power supply will be going like 24 hours a day.
I got my.
Is it
you got the
electric?
bump
Is it
gun.
electric or is it gas?
It's electric. Everything's electric here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got hot water in my CR, the master bedroom,
Yeah.
and I took the old hot water thing for the shower and I put it down here, and I rebuilt my new kitchen island, so I got
Mhm.
hot and cold water at my sink.
That's good.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And see
Like
those.
I would want hot
tankless-
water where I do my dishes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my shower.
My fiance, she's like, "Oh my god, it's so much better with the hot water in the sink."
Yep.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, they heat the water up. They have to pour the water in. Then they got to. If you got the hot water right there.
Yes.
Yeah, with those tankless ones, it doesn't run.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't cost much for power to run them. Because they're on for 5 minutes maybe, and then they're off the rest of the time.
And Dan,
Yeah.
Raquel says, just switch it on when you're about to take a shower.
Well, you see, I thought about that. It is a 25-gallon tank though.
Yeah, that'll
So-
take quite a
You got a
while to
tank.
heat it up.
That's a lot of water to heat up. That's 25 gallons. But that is a good suggestion. That is. Jerry, I'm only 10 minutes from a Jollibee. And the Jollibee in the town of Five Eyes City Leyte, I'll have to tell you, we were talking about it yesterday in the Dunkin'. Nobody goes in there anymore. The food sucks. The food sucks.
Jerry, the closest Jollibee to me that I know is probably would be less than 4 hours if it wasn't for traffic. The closest one I know is Times Square, New York.
Closest,
Yeah, that's right.
closest one for me is about 30 minutes.
It's a CR, Jerry. It's not a bathroom.
We got
I'm just saying, though. I
what
mean,
is it? Maybe
we're looking at
I'd
probably
say
about.
15 minutes away from here with traffic.
See, for me, it'd be about a 3-hour drive if it wasn't for traffic.
Yeah,
But figure about 4 or 5.
There's a mall.
yeah.
There's
There's one up on
there's a newest
West
mall
Side.
here.
It's not too far from me.
Like I said, the
There's a
closest
newest
one, there
mall
might be
here.
one closer. Maybe there's one in Buffalo now. There wasn't one before, but The closest one I know is in Manhattan, New York. You know,
Jack, what are you trying to say?
There's a newish mall.
he said
here.
15
It's
minutes
like
for him.
about 15 minutes with
Mhm.
on a tricycle, but there's a freestanding one, and directly next door is a mall, a newish mall, and there's a Jollibee inside there. I'm like, what? This kind of doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, you're in the Philippines. It makes sense.
Well, they're going to do
Right.
that here. We got a new regional mall that's going to be opening up soon. I'm sure they're going to put a Jollibee in there, and they're
Oh, yeah.
less
Or
than
Mac
a block
Doo.
away. They're only a block or block and a half away from each other.
Oh yeah, and they do.
Hello,
I won't say
Hey,
they
Abby,
do the
how are you?
exact same thing, but I've seen a McDo, a McDonald's, and a Tim Horton all within half a mile of each other. You know,
Yep.
Even though the food
you
is
wanna go a
crappy
little
in
farther,
our local Jollibee, even though the food is crappy, that thing is packed every day. But you know what? I'm telling you, what I have it to compare to is like we've been in the Jollibee in Cebu, like when we were meeting Pacquiao Merns, for example. When we met her and her family, we met at the Jollibee. That Jollibee is first class. And so it's just something wrong with this particular one where where they need to, they need to change management or change franchise owners, or they need to do something because people keep complaining about them using the rancid grease in the fries and using the same
Yep.
grease
That
to cook the French fries
sounds
as they
like
are
half
the
the
chicken.
chickens around.
Yeah.
Trying-
And so they
save
keep
money.
recycling that rancid grease. People are tired of it.
well,
They
I
are tired of it.
I worked at a steakhouse, and we did our fries, and then you had your chicken and another one, and your shrimp and stuff, and we had to strain that grease every other day or I can't, because remember it's been over 50 years.
I'm thinking that
Grease a lot, and then you strained it, and then after so long, like a week, you got rid of it and put all new in.
right,
Yeah.
you have to throw it away. Here, you just dig a big hole in the ground and pour it in there. That's all you got to do.
I used to do
Yeah.
that. I used to work at McDonald's when I was a teenager, and I was the maintenance guy. I was like the highest paid guy there, like right under the manager. And before I left, I had to go through all the grease fats and just strain it, filter it, put it back in, check it. It's good. Okay.
That's the most important job in the whole place, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's the most important job in the whole place.
I ended up one day I caught the grease vat on fire. It
Hey,
was
Carmen.
the last one. 'Cause it was the
Carmen.
one for the fish. It was the one for the fish fillets.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so horrible.
I caught one on fire one time, so I know the feeling.
I forgot to turn the thing off. I'm like, oh.
Me too. I left it on and it started smoking, and then all of a sudden, right, I hear somebody yelling. I run back over there to the fryer and the thing is on fire, right? So I'm like, oh God, what do I do now? People are yelling and screaming, panicking. So all I did was just take the lid, close it down on the top of the fryer, and I was able to extinguish it before the fire extinguisher above went off.
Yeah, if one goes off, they all go off.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. You're out of a job if that happens.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, actually, you're gonna clean all that crap up. It's gonna take forever.
It takes forever. I know.
You're gonna get
Yeah,
fired.
it takes forever. I think that Jollibee in Times Square, is that one of the largest ones in the world?
I don't know. It's one of the newest ones. They just opened that one up. They talk about Jollibees. I guess they had one only a couple blocks away when they built this one.
Is that like a 2-story Jollibee?
I'm not sure. I've not been to it, but I've seen it advertised. They were talking about it was going to open soon, and how it was close to the other one, and it's right in Times Square.
Hey, guys, I see this conversation going on between Jerry and Ed. And I just got to chime in here. Being born and raised in Southern California, we don't even know the history. We don't even know the history of Tex-Mex. Listen, I'm a little bit embarrassed. It was Jerry that brought this to my attention one time. I don't know if Jerry remembers this, because it's come up before, but we don't even know the history. We don't even know the history. They don't teach that in school in Southern California. They teach a different history in school. And so now I know, after doing a little bit of research when this come up before, what the differences are between Tex-Mex and how it occurred. Before, I had no idea, because in school they don't teach us that. It's like it never happened. You know, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I learned Idaho history when I was in school.
I learned Indiana.
I mean,
You
it's a
learn
little
your own state
embarrassing,
history.
you know.
At least when I was in school, it was U.S. history, state history.
Yep.
And then in high school, you had some world history.
Yep.
But you didn't have other states, you know.
Yeah.
They touched on Texas because of the fight with the Mexican government, you know, the Alamo and all that. Now they were their own country for a while. Well, all the other states outside.
Tim wants to know, why is the ice cream machine always broken, Jack, at the McDonald's? That's what he'd like to know. That's a good question, dang it. Why is the ice cream machine off?
There is our answer. I just posted that.
Jack says he's lactose intolerant, so that's why he doesn't fix the machine.
I'm half black and Filipino. I'm like double screwed. So I'm half black and half Asian. I can't handle milk, but I love some pizza.
Yeah, just serve the food.
Ice cream, but...
Hey, Abby, how you doing? Welcome.
Oh, my goodness.
There is our answer.
Abby's in the house. Abby, were you here last week? We kind of missed you. We kind of missed your insight on stuff.
I think she was here last week, but not the last live stream. Remember, you're doing 2 now, so.
Yeah, and I'm going to add a third. Okay, so let me get your guys' suggestion. Should I be moving it to 8 o'clock?
Fine with me.
Doesn't matter to me.
7 o'clock is good. 8 o'clock is good.
Because I want to add one more live stream. I want to add one on Monday. So what I'm thinking about doing, I'm thinking about having themed live streams where Monday we talk about a certain thing, Wednesday we talk about a certain thing, and then Saturdays we do like open forum. That's kind of my idea.
So in other words, in the states it'll be Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday.
Yeah. Because one thing that I noticed, it was very impressive, was my view count started to go crazy. I mean, it started to go off the charts.
Well, like I said, 8 o'clock, especially on Sunday, which would be your Monday.
If you go to your analytics, somewhere it shows you like certain times, which is best for you to put a live stream.
Oh yeah, that's right. Go to analytics.
Yep.
I'm gonna share this live stream.
Now, I got to get more content before I worry about any of that.
Well, you're welcome to be in mine anytime.
On my community tab.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Hey, Jack, I might check with you on the analytics. I saw when I get the most views. And so you're saying follow that timeline?
Yep.
Right. They'll probably tell you the ones that when you get the most views for your live stream. Hey, Jerry, I've already mentioned that. The thing about this time change, that means tomorrow night I'll get an hour less sleep.
Right.
But once it's over with, I'll be happy with it. Now, Dan,
Yeah.
we're talking about Sunday. Are you starting that this Monday? Which will be Sunday for me?
I think I am, but I'll put a thumbnail up.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. Like I said, you can do whatever time you want, but I work till 7 on Sunday, and I'll be home by 8 and be on the. I'll be able to be on the in the chat if nothing else.
Yeah. Man, this computer, I'm telling you, this is the way they set this thing up is the coolest thing. So I can jumpstart my computer. Remember, I was telling you guys on this old gateway computer from Walmart, it gave up on me, the power supply. So they
had that
set it up.
fixed.
They set it up so all I have to do is use my key and jump 2 wires, 2 external wires. Let me show you. You guys might be interested in this. I'm going to show you. All right. You see them wires right there, right here? See this?
No.
Oh, your finger's blocking it.
Yeah. All I have to do is take my key
On the outside
and,
of the computer, right?
yeah, and jump it. And then the thing starts up.
Oh, so the power switch was dead.
The power switch is connected
Do you
to the
turn
main.
it off the same way, or do you just have to close your lid?
No, all I do is just go and electronically turn it off by going over to the startup window.
Oh, and go to shutdown. Yeah.
Oh, shut down. Go shut down.
And then go shut down, yeah. And so it's pretty cool. Because I could bypass the entire board. I just disconnected the entire keyboard because the power supply, the power switch, I should say, is attached to the main motherboard. And so what you have to do is disconnect the entire keyboard and then add yourself one of these cheapy desktop keyboards and you're good to go. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, I think
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more ghetto than you. That's my PC.
Oh, it looks good.
Wow. That's fantastic.
I had one like that once.
I got a big giant screen though.
Oh, that's great. You know,
Oh,
I got a 32-incher. I got a 32-inch screen that I'm thinking about hooking up to this.
This one's
It'd be
like,
nice. Like I said, I got a
something.
27. I like it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Based on
especially when you're reading comments, when you're getting in the comment section.
Oh yeah, makes it lots easier.
Now,
to read.
as you can see, my desk is a mess.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed that I was having bandwidth problems or whatever I'm having.
Yeah.
I
thought
I had the whole thing figured out, you know. Because last week we didn't have any problems whatsoever. You know,
No,
everything
we
was running. Everything was running smooth and
I didn't
still.
have any trouble with on Wednesdays either. The last 2 we did not have any trouble.
Yeah. So I'm disappointed. I'm just thinking that it on the weekend maybe bandwidth use goes up. There are more people on this service. When we first started this thing, we were getting crazy numbers on the speed test. We were getting crazy numbers.
Right now, if I run a speed test right now, I would drop right out. It would kill it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see if I could do one on here. Let me see if I could do one right now and see if that's the problem. All right, computer speed test. Let's see. Laptop speed test. I don't know what's going on with even my searches, you know. You know how Windows fights you? They want you to use Edge and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you try and go to Google and then it tries to block you.
I don't use Edge.
You have to go search, and then sometimes Windows 11 is is fighting you?
I haven't tried the 11 yet.
I'm not gonna try it.
Don't
but
try it.
I got that Edge on this 10. Yeah, Microsoft Edge on this Windows 10, and it just fights me.
Well, yeah, they've had
then-
Edge as part of the Windows OS for clear back to 8, I think.
Yeah, but
All right, I'm in.
I don't use Edge.
I think I'm gonna
Okay.
try to delete.
I'll
it
let you guys.
today.
I'll let you guys give me your opinion. I'm going to show the screen. You see it?
I
No, you gotta
see
get
it,
it
but I can't
closer.
read it.
How are we?
It says go is what I can read.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to hit the go button,
Yeah.
and it's pinging.
Holy
It says 70-something, 80.
Oh,
That's decent.
Yeah,
wow!
that's up to almost 90. It's over 90 now.
Dang.
That's pretty good for the Philippines.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be your
I'm jealous.
equipment.
Yep.
Maybe there's a bad wiring in there somewhere in your speaker system.
Yeah, you guys are right. That's remarkable.
Yes. So,
So-
you shouldn't be having
Man,
problems, I don't think.
Yeah, download was almost 92, and upload was 89.53.
Yeah, that's
As I said,
good for
you're
Philippines.
right around 90 both ways, up and down. That's
I mean,
excellent.
that's crazy fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think you're right, you guys. I think that I'm going to switch over, but I think one of you, Jack, did you suggest I switch over to this computer? So I think by next week I will have done that. I will have switched over to this other computer, and I will reboot. I will reset the routers today to see if that makes a difference. But if you're looking at speed tests here, the router probably ain't the problem.
It could
Probably
be.
not the- no. No,
Yeah, it
not with
could
that
be.
kind of speed. I know if the router's
Oh,
problem.
yeah, I've had that before. And,
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
We've gotten excellent speed, and then the router was still the problem.
Yeah. In fact,
Jim
Well,
says
like I
he can get
said-
200 up and down on his desktop.
You saw what we were working with. I mean, you saw what
Yeah.
we were working with. We're working with those routers that are like, rabbit antennas and from the 1960s.
Yeah.
They're not new because we had routers similar to that. And you talk about it. I was inside a basement, concrete bunker, actually, inside of a basement, inside of a hill.
Right.
And 4G, I had to go outside. I had to go upstairs. I had to do all kinds of stuff to get connected sometimes.
Yeah.
And we had a router in our office.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
That being said, we're going to call it a day.
Well, if you
You do,
insist.
Backstage
Well,
chat.
it's your show, so you do what you want to do.
Now, guys,
I'll look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow.
I did
Yeah,
schedule one
backstage
for
chat.
tomorrow, so anybody that wants to show up, you're more than welcome. If you want to come up, anybody that wants to come up, I can have up to about, I forget how many people, 10 or more can come up. I think counting me. So, whoever wants to come up can come up. We'll talk about whatever.
Okay.
We can even continue this conversation, which is fine.
That'll be
with me.
great. So don't forget tomorrow.
And remember now, Dan,
Yeah,
come up this time. Last time you didn't come up.
I didn't. Are you sure?
No. Yeah.
No.
Oh, I
You
might have
said
been.
hi.
I might have
You
been
were
in the
somewhere.
Duncan. Something was
You were
going
somewhere.
on. Yeah, I remember. I was probably in the Duncan.
You were in the Dunkin' or somewhere else.
Yeah, I was somewhere else. Yeah, we had something to do. I can't remember what it was exactly. All right, Larry, take us out of this live.
All right, everyone, remember, be kind to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Peace, love, and rock and roll.
There you
Yeah.
go.
See y'all tomorrow.
Thanks.